Laura A. Grace here, and I'm so excited because you guys can see I have another special guest. It's going to be so much fun. Please welcome Marg from Marg Reads Manga. Hey, Marg!
Hi! How are you?
Good, and I'm so excited to have you back on my channel. Like, it's always so much fun when we hang out and just
I know, I love it.
Yeah, same here. I was like, I honestly, like, I feel like I wish I could brainstorm more things. So I'm like, you could come back again, have you on every month.
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally up for that. I will chat with you any day.
Same here. And I'm so excited because, like, guys, as you guys know, it's been the release of Finding God Anime Devotional for Otakus, Volume 2. And I've been trying to, like, feature friends, have friends on here that were involved. And though Marg didn't necessarily, well, she's actually been a really huge supporter of this devotional. And thank you so much, Marg. Like, your support so
I was
much.
trying to find mine. I'm like, where is it? It's too far away.
I had to grab mine beforehand because I almost forgot to grab it. So, but she has made all of the super shiny graphics that you guys have been seeing on Instagram, even here on YouTube. So she's amazing. If you guys ever need like a graphic designer, hit her up because her stuff is always awesome. And I think the hashtag you use online is will work for manga. Is that what it is?
Yes. Will work for manga. So just let me know if you have any graphical needs and I will make your graphical dreams come true.
And yeah, and you get to like recommend some of your favorite manga that you maybe want her to pick up and read. So it's like a win-win situation all around.
For sure.
Today is so cool because we're going to do a book tag. And the funny thing is I actually did, well, we're going to make it a manga tag, I guess, of a book tag. But like, I don't know, however many years ago it was, I did a book tag called All Kinds of Heroes. But today we're going to do manga only. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what your picks are. So I guess we'll just go back and forth for each one. Does that sound good?
Okay. Yeah, I'm cool with that.
You can kick us off. For the first one. What is it? In the Shadows. Quiet hero who is more in the shadows than the spotlight.
Okay, so you gotta kind of like broaden your horizons when you hear the word hero, because the hero in this story is not really a human. So
oh my goodness,
it cracks me up because we're just talking about this. It's the walking cat. What is it? A walking cat, a cat's eye view of the zombie apocalypse. And the hero I'm picking for this is the cat.
Oh my goodness.
Believe it or not. So the cat, this is just an awesome kind of zombie apocalypse story. I wasn't really expecting too much out of this story, but it surprised me. And this cat comes along and helps some various humans in this story. As you can see, this guy's kind of beat up and stuff. And it's just a very heartwarming tale. And you wouldn't even think of that. Like, well, maybe you would because of the cat on the cover, but it's just it. And there's not very many words, so it's like a quick read. So don't be discouraged by the size of this chunky boy. But yeah, it's really good. It's really heartwarming, and you're just rooting for the people that this cat comes across, and you're hoping that everything turns out okay for them. So I feel like the cat in the story is the real hero because the cat helps them through these tough times that they're finding themselves in. So that's my pick.
I love that. And I would have never expected you to say heartwarming for that or how big it is. Because once you showed this, I was like, oh my God, it's so big.
There's a lot of pages where there's like hardly any dialogue. So, I mean, because the main character is a cat. And I'm trying not to pick too I mean, it's not too graphic. I mean, there's zombies in it, but it's just like, it's nothing too gory or anything like that. So it's very tolerable. It's for 15 plus. So, so it's not that bad. When it comes to like the gore and stuff, it is intense in some areas, but I feel like that's just the storytelling. Like, giving you like how intense the situation is and how important it is for these people to survive. And it's just, it's so good. And there's some comedy bits in it too. I laughed out loud at some of these points. And I highly recommend it. Even if you don't like zombie stuff, it's more about the people and the cat. So
I will have to look into that. I feel sold with you sharing all that because I never guessed that's what it was. I was thinking, like, I guess, and I never noticed it, but he doesn't have any blood on him like the human does. So I'm like, it's it's a nice one. I really recommend it. It's
it surprised me. It really did. I thought, okay, I'm going to read it and then it's going to move on to the next house to, bring joy to somebody else. But I'm like, I'm going to reread this again. Like when I forget about the story, I'll totally reread this. So
that is awesome. That is awesome. Well, mine's not quite as exciting, though I felt pretty excited because I was like, I'm going to go with Kuroko from Kuroko's Basketball since he's like the Shadow Sixth Man, or Phantom Man, I mean. And I was like, well, he talks about how he is the Shadow for the Miracle Generation, I believe. And I was like, he is just a really, I don't know, he's a really interesting character because he definitely can be sort of almost like where it feels like pushed back to the sidelines and out of the spotlight for sure. And then he just comes in and he does these moves, especially as like the manga progresses. Well, technically I haven't read the manga, I've only seen the anime, but I was like, still, Kuroko counts. But just as he grows as a character and you just see he does have moments where he really shines, even though he's still in the shadows, so to speak, which sounds sort of weird, but it's just, I don't know, I feel like because he is so quiet-natured and he is, like, calls himself a shadow, I didn't feel like I could relate to him, but, like, as it goes on and you see how he just wants to help his team, even as this Phantom Man, it's really, I feel like just inspiring and just really cool to just see his overall growth. And just, there's other things I was about to say, but I was like, that's a spoiler for, like, happens so much later on, but it's really good. And I'm like, I have to eventually read this because just not only because of one of the pieces is about Kuroko's Basketball and finding out anime, but I'm like, I feel like he's a little bit, well, maybe a little bit lower, quite a bit lower, but I feel like he's somewhere on there for like just inspiring characters like Hinata and the relatability that he has. But I just was like, he's the Phantom Man, he's the Sixth Man. So I'm like, I just have to spotlight him because I was like excited that he called himself a shadow and in the shadows for the prop kind of thing. So that was
yeah,
I was like, that was cool.
Yeah, I've been very curious about that series because I know it's been compared to like Haikyuu, and I started reading Haikyuu and I love it. So, like, I like basketball too, so I'm kind of like, oh, I think I need to pick that up. But I did see it had an anime on Netflix, so maybe I'll go that route first.
The anime is really good, and like the only sort of like odd thing is like they look so much younger in the manga than they do the anime. Like the anime, they look a lot older. So that was like a little bit of a. It took me a while to finally pick up the manga because I'm like, oh man, like they look like little young teenagers, and they are. But in the anime, I feel like okay, I think Kuroko's like 15, but they look like they're 17 or 18 in the anime. So it was just a little bit of an adjustment. But I mean, from what I've like skimmed and read, it is really accurate. So I would definitely recommend the anime too, if like it's easier to read that or just I don't know how hard the volumes are to find at this point, to be honest. So I don't know which one's the best way to go. Oh man. So for the next one, I'm no hero who doesn't acknowledge being one. Oh yes, I'm curious to see what you choose. I'm getting so excited I can't even speak.
This one, I feel like I consider him a hero, and he doesn't consider himself a hero. But I feel like he needs that. But I picked Go with the Clouds, North by Northwest. Yeah. And I feel like I've talked about this on your channel before. But he's like the only one I could think of that is like a hero, but nobody really addresses that. He kind of, how do I explain it? He's a guy that tracks down people who are missing or lost for their loved ones who are asking him to find them. And he's trying to find his brother as well because his brother has been missing. So he's a very interesting character. He can touch a piece of technology and get information out of that. Like he can touch his car, which is in the back, which he's got a super cool, like, I think it's like, it looks like a Jeep, but I think it's like a Bronco or something like that. Yeah. He's got a cool car and like he'll touch it and the car will give him feedback of things. So he kind of talks to his car, but he can pick up cell phones. And if it's like the loved one's cell phone, he can figure out like if there's any messages or something in it just by touching it. If there's any messages or something that gives him clues to find this person. So I think he's a hero because he ends up finding these people who are lost. People who might not want to be found, but things work out and they get reconnected with their loved ones. Kind of like a secondary thing, I feel like, to this book. It's more of a kind of slice of life mystery kind of story, but I really love it. I really love this mangaka because the art is absolutely stunning. It's the same mangaka that does Ron and the Grey World. And I'm really hoping we get more of this mangaka's stories. But it's really interesting. It's got a lot of comedy in it. He loves meat. He loves eating meat. They live in Iceland, or is it Greenland? I get those mixed up, but they live in one of those where it's cold all the time. So, so he eats a lot of meat to keep his energy up. And this guy like works for food, basically. And he doesn't require much of people. And if he does, he gets money in order just to survive. Like there he is touching a cell phone and getting information out of it. But yeah, so it's a lot of fun. I consider him a hero because he finds people who are lost and brings them back. So
that's amazing. I feel like I'm sold on that one too.
Yeah, it's really nice. These editions are by Vertical Comics, and they have that feel to them where they feel like a textured plastic almost. I don't know what it is, but they're really nice, and the art alone is just gorgeous. I mean, I love it.
That is awesome. I think when I looked a long time ago, I think when the first volume was coming out, I think my library has the first 2 volumes, but I got it, but I didn't have time to read it and returned it. But I really need to put it back on my radar because that sounds really, really good and really interesting.
Yeah. So I really like it. I recommend it to a lot of people who like that mystery kind of thing and just beautiful art.
Yeah, that's awesome. I don't know if mine's quite as exciting because this hero definitely doesn't acknowledge one. And I did Yagyu from Imakoi because, like, you know how like he saved her in the beginning on the train.
Yes. Oh, that's great! Yeah.
And he's like, anybody would have done this in my in this situation. She's like, no, kind of thing. Like nobody would have. I don't know if that's right.
Yes.
But I really love Yagyu. He is. I think I'm saying his name right. He's so just cute. He's such a great hero, and it's probably because he doesn't acknowledge himself as one. And you're like, dude, like you really are. Like you're a great guy, and I just absolutely love like the progression of everything in this series. But yeah, I thought at the beginning, like I love this scene right here when she's incredibly daring. Like that was a good moment. So. Yeah, he came to mind. I feel like he's one of the like new, really, I don't know if really popular, but seems growing popular in the shoujo community because he's just such a great guy. Like I feel like there's not much else to say about him, and he's just fun to read about. And so I guess I think because the things that he does, he's like it's nothing special, but like there's so much more meaning behind what you're doing that I don't think you fully realize, man. I don't think you fully realize this.
That was the perfect pick for that prompt. Yeah, I really love that series so much. I recently read volume 2.
Yeah.
I want volume 3 as soon as possible.
Yes.
It's so good and so sweet.
Going into our next one, Weak in the Knees, Swoonworthy Hero. I admit I almost wanted to pick him.
Oh yeah, I had it in my hands and I'm like, no, I've got to go with my OG. I mean, y'all know. Y'all have got to know.
Yeah.
This is going to pop up. It's Hawk. It's always going to be Hawk. He is just the perfect hero in my eyes. And Yona is so lucky to have him because he's got a rough exterior, but he's like so sweet on the inside, and he is so hot, and I can't with him. I mean, he's the best. I mean, runner up goes to J-Ha though. He is also amazing. He's hot and funny, and he's a great hero too. But I've got to go with Hawk. I got to go with Hawk.
Yeah, I am so
So,
excited to read Yona because I know it's gonna win and be in those top 4. And so I'm like,
yes.
I cannot wait because like I think I was on Twitter at some point. I was looking at Shoujo Beat stuff, and they retweeted a like picture or illustration of him, and yeah, he definitely fills the shoes of Swoonworthy Hero. Like,
Oh, he does. And just his interactions with Yona. I'm trying not to show like spoilers and stuff, but
yeah,
just the sweetness between them is just it's everything. It is
yeah,
everything. We don't get a lot of it, I will say, and it
oh,
leaves you wanting more
yeah,
and more. And it's just like, no, I need them together
yeah.
more often. And but the time you do get with them, yeah, that's spoilers. I can't go there. But but yeah, it's just so good and it just leaves you wanting more and you just totally root for this couple. So yeah.
Oh my
Love
god.
it.
I cannot wait to read it. The first person that came to mind for Swoonworthy Hero was Itsuomi from A Sign of Affection. Because
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like I'll say everything he does. Like sometimes I get a little bit like frustrated with his actions because it's like for an example of like when he says something but she can't read his lips, and I'm just like look at her and tell her what you just said so that the reader knows and that she
Yes.
knows.
Yes.
But I love him. Like he is such a great hero and just a great character, and just seeing how precious and sweet he is with our main girl, I was just like, he's so perfect.
Yeah. And we get volume 5 soon too. I'm
Yes.
so excited.
Isn't it the end of this month? Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like if the release date has not been pushed back.
Oh, I hope not.
I know. So I feel like I can't gush about him the same way you did with Hawk, but I do feel like I think he's a good weak in the knees kind of hero. And so I cannot wait for the next volume. I think just recently, maybe not super recently, like 2-3 weeks ago, but I did reread like some of the manga and like all of volume 4 because I'm just like, they're so precious. They're just so
Yeah.
precious, and I feel like you just can't help but like root for both of them, and like just hope that Itsuomi continues to be like super sweet and just super precious to our main girl. Because if not, I feel like he's just gonna get so much flag from the
Yes.
community.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I can't wait to read about Hawk though. Like I'm
Yeah.
ready. I feel like I'm ready.
Yes, yes. I hope they reprint everything soon. I heard rumors that they're reprinting stuff in July and August. So
Yeah.
hoping people can get their hands on this.
Well, I guess on the opposite spectrum a little bit for our next
Yeah.
one is Hate to Love. Hero you disliked in the beginning but loved by the end.
Let me find the picture of him. Here we go. Okay. So the manga I chose was Asadora.
Okay.
And Asadora is not the one, but it's this guy right here.
Oh my goodness.
He
Yeah.
is terrible in the beginning. He kidnaps her
Yeah.
during a storm when she's trying to get back to her family. He
Yeah.
kidnaps her. He tries to steal something from her first. I forget what it is, but I forget what his name is too. But
I don't
he
even remember him by the hero of the skies. Like
yeah,
that's the only
that's
way
what yeah, it's
Yeah.
Hero Skies right here. He
Oh,
was
yeah.
he was a war veteran and he's struggling to make it on his own. He was a pilot. But he just captures her and ties her up and in this attic during this typhoon that they're going through, he just spills his whole story, and by the end of the story, he lets her go, and you're just like, okay, he is a good guy. At the end of this manga, it's like, okay, I'm not going to say what happens at the end of the manga, but he is definitely a hero of the skies.
Yeah.
So it works out, but I really didn't like him in the beginning. So
That is such a good one. Yeah, I did not either, but by the end, I was really, really sold. I need to read the second volume because I was shocked how much I loved that first volume.
yeah, I went into it completely blind, not knowing that it was kind of a sci-fi read.
Yeah.
So I was very pleasantly surprised by the end of it. And at that time, I think there was 3 volumes out, maybe 4, and I immediately picked up the rest. So it's such a good story. I'm trying to figure out what his name was.
I don't remember. I
don't remember.
We called him Hero of the Skies.
Hero of the Skies. It's just that's his thing. So I'm not seeing it in here. I think it comes out later, but he did some terrible things, but he's also did some amazing things when he was in the war. And I can't see it, but y'all know I'm terrible with main character names. But
I went with Eggard from The Earl and the Fairy. I was a little bit skeptical of Sam, but I did not like him in the beginning. I mean, literally, when you first meet him, he's almost looks like, I don't know if you can see it, like he is going to torture somebody. That sounds sort of graphic. It's not graphic, I guess, but I mean, he is already holding somebody up with a gun and such. And so he's such a liar, but he's very manipulative. And so it can be really hard to tell how sincere he actually is with the main girl. And I'm just like, if you were just point blank with things from the get-go, because even like at the moments where like it seems like he's honest and he actually is honest, it's still like you have said all of these lies beforehand. He sort of kidnapped her but didn't kidnap her. It was like she got kidnapped, he saved her, but he's sort of keeping her hostage. So like it's like these just series of events where it's like, you are making things better, but it really feels like you're making them worse before you make them better. And so I feel like it took a long time. Probably it's only 4 volumes, but it was
going to ask you that
over halfway through the series before I was like, okay, you're still you still lie about things, but I do see more to you than just like putting on this fake persona, so to speak, around other people. But I did not like him at the beginning. I was really afraid because of everything that happens in the beginning on those first 2 pages. I was like, this guy's really dangerous. And then whereas you don't know if he's telling the truth, and it's just like, I just want you to be honest, man, and just keep our main girl safe and make better decisions. Just make better decisions. So by the end, I feel like he did make better decisions. And it's interesting because this is a light novel series, like the original. And I honestly wish the manga went further as much as the light novel does, because I feel like we could have seen even better character growth in him than what we got just in the manga. It's not bad, but it's just it's one of those moments where the ending isn't the actual end.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I was glad that I did like him by the end, though, because I was so skeptical of him, and then I was like, I don't know if he's being truthful or not. He created all those mixed emotions. Did his job well, I suppose, since even the character felt the same way. Oh man, I felt like this one was a little bit of a hard one. Inspired action. Hero who's inspired you to want to make a difference in the real world.
Yeah, this one was really hard. I'm not sure what I can do for people in the real world like this, but this person was very inspiring, and I'm talking about this guy right here. What's his name? I think this one's Sugumi, and then Itsuki. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, Itsuki.
Okay.
Actually, both of them are very inspiring.
Yeah.
They, if you don't know, this is a story about these high school students that went to school together, and then later on in life, they meet up at a work function or something, and they're all sitting down at the table, and all of a sudden, he gets into a wheelchair, and she's shocked because he wasn't like that in high school, and there was a whole accident and things like that. And he had a rough road in order to get to where he was. And he's an architect. So his goal is to make things easier for people in wheelchairs to get places, because apparently in Japan, there's not a lot of, by the story, I'm not sure if this is real world, but in this story, there's not a lot of ramps. There's not a lot of places where wheelchair bound people can get to. And he's trying to make buildings and make areas easier for these people to access. And she kind of comes alongside him, and there's a romance between them and everything.
Yeah.
And she kind of takes on this mission as well, to help make these homes for wheelchair bound people and things like that. And they're just so inspiring. And I thought it was so awesome because honestly, I've never really thought about that before. I worked in an architectural firm, and I knew there were things in place where we had to make things larger in like public spaces, like hallways or bathrooms or things like that. I knew of that, but I never really thought intensely about the struggles that wheelchair bound people have just in their daily lives, and things happen in his life that are unexpected and are unexpected for him and her and them trying to deal with it. And it was very eye-opening, and it's like, wow, they're very inspiring. I don't know what I can do to help people in need or that have like some physical disabilities, but it opens your eyes to the struggles, the daily struggles that people with impairments or thing have to deal with. And I just feel so blessed that I don't have to go through those things. But it's also like, what can I do to help people like this? I'm like, you could hold open doors, when you see somebody coming that, it's a struggle to open the door or things like that. Those are small things, but I just found them really inspiring. So yeah, that's my
such a good one. That is such a good one. That makes me, I was like, man, I should have done Run on Your New Legs.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even think about this one. I was going to be truthful, and I was going to do Hinata. So, but it's like, I don't really know how I could share about that without rambling. But man, hearing you share, I felt really similar in a lot of ways when I read Perfect World. I remember reading that on 4th of July, like one year, I don't know which year it was, and crying. And I felt the same way because one of our old friends that used to go to our church, he was wheelchair bound, and I felt like that manga was so eye-opening, and just like I said, gives you an appreciation for the things like that we may take for granted, of like just being able to go through doors without having somebody open it, or worrying about if there's a ramp or not. Like, I never thought about those things.
And even things like how they like to be talked to, and like things that you shouldn't do, or things that this character, I don't know if that's universal, but don't get down like eye level with them. He didn't like that. He's like, talk to me like how you are, like a real person, and don't avoid me just because I'm in a wheelchair, things like that. And it's just like, wow. So it was very eye-opening, kind of like a sign of affection as well. Like people have to go through who are deaf. And it's like, it's very eye-opening, I thought.
Yeah, I felt that way a little bit with Run on Your New Legs. And I don't know what I could do in the real world either, but I do feel like his story was so inspiring. And I love that conversation that he has. I don't know if I could actually show it or not, but with the one guy, this guy right here, this guy.
Yeah.
Like, he has a conversation, and they're talking about the chair and how he took the chair. And, I think he even says, like, I don't have basically a disability. Yeah, he's like, well, I don't feel disabled, so I'm glad he took the seat. And so, I'm not the dude's client, and goes into other things. But yes, his story was really impactful as well. And I just was so moved by, like, a lot of the different things of how, like, he just didn't give up. And I think this one, on the flip side of Perfect World, of where you see I wouldn't say the negative effects, but like how it just impacted his friendship with the one guy. I can't think of his best friend's name, but I feel like it was a lot harder because there was just, not good communication, and being able to talk about how they both felt after what had happened to him. While Perfect World had a little bit more of that open communication, even though it was like really hard. But that was one thing that I'm like, I hope that there's healing for their friendship and whatnot, because I loved his one friend a lot. And so I'd say, like, both of these were just so impactful and really inspiring and eye-opening to read them. And this one, I feel like, I think this actually comes out in July, but I'm excited for the next one.
Yay!
One.
Yeah, so, I can't wait to continue it.
And I do have volume 2 of Perfect World.
Yay!
I
Yeah.
haven't read it, but I do finally have it. So I was like, well, after that movie conversation, the next one is Only One Can Win. Hero in a love triangle, you want to win the girl's heart. So I want to know your pick for this.
What's that?
Oh, I said I want to know what your pick is for this. I want to see if maybe.
I feel like we might feel the same about this one, and we might have the same one. I don't know, but
Oh my god!
I know. I wish he would have won because he was just a total sweetheart, and I loved him for it. But I can't. I guess that was spoilers. I don't know.
Yeah, I totally get what you mean, though.
Yeah, but I wanted Ando to be the last man standing. He was just, I loved everything about him, like the way he was, his personality, his charm, everything. But can't win, and I just hope he moves on and has
Me too.
the best life, and whichever girl ends up with him, they're gonna be so lucky because he's just such a sweetheart. So yeah.
Yes, it's so funny because that was the one that kept coming back to me. And I was like, I really feel Mark's gonna do this one, so I tried doing something else so that I would not do that one.
Yeah.
So I had to make sure I had the right one. I don't have the guy. I guess I do. I used to do. I said Yuzu from Anonymous Noise.
Oh.
I don't know how much I can say about this one, and I actually chose this one for a different pick, and then I decided to do this one because I was like, I also feel Ando, like, I want him to win as well. And I feel like, this was like an emotional roller coaster for this series because I feel like I went back and forth on my feelings so much depending on like what was shared about like a backstory or a flashback. But I feel like all in all, Yuzu is the one that I wanted to win her heart because I feel like they had such a special connection that I feel like she didn't quite have with other characters. Even though I know other characters would argue that they shouldn't be together and just all of that drama and whatnot. But I feel like he sort of reminds me of Ando in that Ando was the one that was there for, what was her name? Is it Nino? Or am I thinking, okay, well, her name's Nino. I don't remember her name.
What was it? Ninako.
Ninako, okay.
Almost the same.
Yeah. So I feel like with them, that Ando was always there for her and encouraged her and was just there for her, and was willing, to just be there. And so I feel like Yuzu was the same thing for Nino, where he was there. Like when she was struggling, he was the one helping her up, helping her to be able to push forward and grow as a person. So
yeah.
I mean, I was happy with both endings, but I definitely feel like for both of these guys, these were the guys that I wanted to win for like over majority of the manga.
I mean, look at our sweet baby.
I know. That is such a good one.
He is, yeah.
And I feel like him too, like that even though he usually was the same way, where sometimes they do the wrong thing at the wrong time, and you're like, you should have chose a different time for this. But it's like, they still be, I mean, I don't remember if they apologize sometimes for the things that they did, but it's still like, they were still very enduring. And it's like, they're a very realistic hero who doesn't always make the best decisions at the right time, but they're so honest and open. That's like, it's hard not to root for them, especially their competitors or their rivals are so secretive, and then they're not nice to the main girl. You're like,
no,
go with the other guy.
I've been very curious about that series, though. Anonymous Noise.
It is so good. It is so good. There's a seller on Macari right now who has it for sale, and I'm just like, this is a really good deal, but I'm like, I don't need it, but I'm like, I want it. I want it. So,
oh yeah, the struggle.
Yeah. Oh man. So the next one is Otherworldly. Hero is from another world compared to the MC or side characters.
Yeah, I picked Fushigi Yugi for this one. This could go both ways because, I mean, Miyaka is considered the hero maybe in this story because she does end up saving, I forget the name of the land. But she is sucked through a book in the library called The Universe of the Four Gods. Yeah, The Universe of the Four Gods. She is sucked into that book, into this different world where this guy, this cute guy, who reminds me of Hawk. This was like my first anime crush ever. And this is Tamahome, and he ends up helping Miyaka out, and I feel like he is a hero as well because he saves her from a bunch of guys that were trying to kidnap her and possibly sell her or do not so good things to her. So he comes along and helps her out in her time of need, and they are just trying to show like they are just the cutest couple. So they are otherworldly to each other because they're from different worlds, and it's kind of reminiscent. Like I thought Yono the Dawn reminded me a lot of Fushigi Yugi, because in Fushigi Yugi they are trying to find the celestial warriors, and I believe there's 7 of them total. Okay. Six or 7, I can't remember. So kind of like Miyaka's trying to find these warriors, Yona was trying to find her dragons, and it's a similar kind of story, even though Yona's not an isekai, but this one's considered an isekai.
Okay.
But it's just a fun fantasy shoujo manga, and it was the first anime that I really fell in love with, so I had to get the manga. Yeah. I haven't actually read the manga yet. I'm terrified of breaking these spines.
Yeah.
But I think one of these days I'm just going to do it. So, but the art is amazing. It's by one of the members of Clamp, and she went solo and did her own stories, but her art is amazing. And it's just a fun fantasy shoujo. It's got everything in it. It's got drama, it's got action, it's got romance, it's got like some sentimental parts. There's one part in this manga anime that made me cry. And that doesn't happen very often. And there's death in it, and it's just so good. I love it.
I'm sold. This series, if I'm getting it right, there's a lot of, is this like the main series? And then you have like where there's spin-offs?
Yeah, there's a main series, which the Universe of the Four Gods, there's 4. So there's 4 total stories that go along with this. Okay. This one's the main story. This one's Fushigi Yugi, the Mysterious Play. And then, although it doesn't say that on this manga, but then there's the recent one, Byaku Senki, which is the very first time it happened. So that one happened first. And then what was it? Genbu Kaiden was the next one. This is the third one, third and fourth, actually, because her friend actually becomes the other priestess. So she's the priestess of Suzaku, and the other one was the priestess of Saru, I think it was called.
Okay.
So this is the third and fourth, but this one came first. But this one was published first.
Right.
And then the other ones were prequels to it. So I think it was because it was so popular that everyone wanted the other stories of the other ones. So yeah. So highly recommend if you're into fantasy.
Yes, I will have to check that out because I know you've talked about like the series a lot, like not just that one specifically, but like some of the spin-offs or the prequels. And I've been really curious about ever since you had shared about it. I just remember I watched it in one of your videos, and it was like, I think it was when I first started getting to know you, because you were up at like 4:30, and I was like, how could she function and read manga this early in the morning? Like, I distinctly remember thinking that. I was like, that is hardcore. And so that's the first time I remember like it being introduced to me. So ever since then, I've been like more and more curious, especially like when you've talked about it and you have like such a strong love for the series. I'm like, I really need to see what it's about, because that sounded really, really cool. Mine is sort of a different kind of, I guess you would say. Mine's a shoujo manga, and I don't have an iPad to show it, so I'll have to put it on the screen. But I sent it to you via chat, and it's called Nighttime for Just Us 2. And I chose this one because the guy in the picture, Koga, he says that he is an alien. And They
Oh.
like meet up at night, and she like goes outside. She watches this little puppy dog channel video. It's so cute. And he comes and he's like, "Hey, I'm an alien from another planet." And she's like, "You're the most popular guy in my school. What are you talking about?" And so basically the premise, without giving away spoilers, is that Koga has like this alien in him that's only comes out, so to speak, when Koga, the popular guy, is actually asleep. So she's befriending this alien who's not Koga but is Koga, and so it's almost like there's two different personalities, but it's the same person. And
oh my goodness.
there's some things that happen. It's a really chill slice of life, but I was like really interested in the premise because like the alien and the main guy are like so different. But I'm like,
I need this.
yeah, I'm like, how can you ship an alien that's still like a different character? But I totally shipped her and the alien so hard. But it's so I don't know where it's gonna go from here. And I read the ending and then I went and read the preview for volume 2, and I'm just waiting to get some more Amazon credit so I can get the second volume cheaper, because it was just, I don't know, it's sort of different having like such just he's otherworldly, but he's not otherworldly. But it was just a really unique premise. I'm like, I've never seen an alien, so to speak, in shoujo manga, but he was like the first one that came to mind. I think I read it like last week, and it was really cute. I was very impressed. It was.
Yeah.
I was sad when it ended, and I was like, hopefully the alien is successful.
I am totally picking that up. That sounds like right up my alley.
Yeah, it was really precious. It was really cute. It was just a refreshing story, and that alien guy like going where the popular guy is like pretty grumpy, and then he'll have this alter ego, the alien, who's like really upbeat, and he can even like glow in the dark, and it's just it's so cute. It's so cute.
Yeah.
For our next one is I'll Think About It. Reluctant hero to walk the path asked or required of them.
Yeah, for this one I picked Zen from Snow White with the Red Hair. Because later we find out, or not later, but when Zen was a younger prince, he did not want to be a prince. He did not want anything to do with it. He just wanted to be a normal kid and play with his friend that he had met. And yeah, so he did not want to be a prince. And later on, he starts to get in, he starts to take on responsibilities and things like that, and he gets a good group of comrades and friends around him and people that love him, and he loves them back, and it's perfection. The series, it's just so good. I love how all the characters interact with each other. They're fun. Some of them are crazy, but they're very loyal. They're all loyal to each other, and he's just come in to accept his responsibility as prince, and he wants to protect his loved ones, and they want to protect him as well. And it's just so good. I love it so much. Another fantasy shoujo I am talking about. I seem to be talking about those lately. But it's just so good, and I just really love him as a character. He's very admirable and always does the right, or tries to do the right thing. And it's so good. And he seems to attract just people who are, have goals and the same kind of ideals in mind as well. So it's just a wholesome read, and Zen is a cutie pie as well. Yeah, so definitely
I need to catch up. I think I'm on, where am I? I don't even know where that manga is. I think I stopped at like volume 5. I think I'm so behind, but I know that the big brother made an appearance, and I was like, I can't stand this guy. My friend's like, he gets better. I was like, well, right now, I don't like him.
I finished reading volume 19, which is the most recent one out currently, and oh my goodness. It was just shoujo gold. And then there was parts in it that were like, no, what is happening?
Oh, no.
It's going in an entirely different direction, and you're just like, oh, what is this? And it's just so good. It's so good.
For mine, I did Prince Claude from I'm the Villainess, So I'm Taming the Final Boss. He is a cinnamon roll, like so precious and so sweet. but he like does not embrace like his royalty, so to speak, at all. But I love this character. He is just so sweet, and just like he is such a cinnamon roll. I just cannot get over how amazing that he is, and just the things that he does. So, but he does eventually embrace it, because like you were saying with Zen, that he gets those people around him that are there for him and encourage him and love him for who he is, because there's definitely some like behind the scenes stuff with him. I can't say how he comes to embrace it, but he did start embracing his role by the end. But I'd say, yeah, for majority of the whole thing, he's very reluctant to uphold that royalty or anything, given that the sort of like the hate that he gets, because he's viewed as the bad guy. But he really is so sweet, and so, I mean, he's just adorable with the main character.
Yeah.
The premise is that basically she has been put or reincarnated or whatever into this Otome game, and all the routes lead to doom, sort of. Well, that's the other manga, but all routes lead to her dying. And so she's like, okay, if I want to stay alive, I have to woo the prince here and win his heart. And so she goes to him, and he's like, why would a human want to be with me when I'm the villain? And he's supposed to turn into this giant dragon, so to speak, at the end, and kills everybody. But she's like, if I can fall in love with him and avoid those red flags, nobody will die. But as she's more like into the story of it, like the more things are going differently, and there's an excellent plot twist that happens with him in this volume. That was not what I was expecting at all. So I'm
writing this one down too.
That anime is coming, and I'm so excited for it. Like, it's just so precious. It is a really cute story. It's only, the manga itself is only 3 volumes, but the light novels I think are ongoing right now. But I really like his character so much. He's such a great hero, and the back of it is super cute.
Oh, cute! I love it when you do chibis on the back.
Me too. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're good.
But yeah, I like all of them. I think all of the people, and the heroine is really great too. It was a really fun little short series. I would definitely want more if they should give us more of the manga for sure. The next one this was the hardest one for me personally, is No Danger for You, hero you want to protect at all cost.
Oh my gosh, I can't even think of his name.
Oh no.
I don't remember his name, so I apologize. But it's this guy on the front of this volume. This is Hell's Paradise. This is by far the coolest volume, or the manga cover in this series. I mean, they're all pretty cool. I love the splashes of color, and they're all very bright. But this is the guy that I want to protect forever. He makes so many puns. Like, you can see his eyes are scarred and he can't see. He makes so many puns about seeing and not seeing. It's hilarious. And I think he's just such a fun character he's very much the comic relief in this story, because this story is very intense, and it's about these, I believe they're samurai. Yeah, samurais, and he is one of the samurais. They grouped together with some criminals in order to find this eternal elixir. I forget what they call it, but basically it's an elixir of immortality. So they're trying to find this. They don't even know if it exists or not, but they're trying to find it on this, on Hell's Paradise is what this island is dubbed, and is far from paradise. Things keep going wrong. People die right and left. And it's just, the whole time I'm reading the series, I'm like, please don't let this guy die. He is my favorite. But he's just a cool guy, and he's pretty cool. And I just love the puns he makes during the story when things are getting pretty heavy. He makes a pun about oh, I see what you did there. And then he's waiting for people to react, and they're just like,
Yeah.
And I wish I found the volume. If I was thinking, I wish I would have found the volume where it had all the characters, like he makes a pun and he's waiting for the characters to react and they're thinking to themselves, like, really? Did it again? And yeah, it's just so great. I don't think it was in this volume, but yeah, this series is just not for the faint of heart, especially when you love your characters and you're like, no, please don't die.
Yeah.
Please survive to the end so you can get to your loved ones. But they are fighting these crazy monsters. But he is such a cool samurai. He can't see, but he's like hacking up this guy that won't die. And but yeah, it's such a good, crazy good series. But yeah, he's the one I want to protect the most.
Oh, he just seems so precious, especially with all of that. Like, I have so many people recommending it, but with you saying that characters die and stuff, I'm like, I don't know if I can. Like, I cannot stand my characters dying. I chose another hero that's similar that I'm like, I don't want anything to happen to you. I mean, I guess that's the prompt, but like, I feel what you're saying. I chose Genos from One Punch Man because I feel like he's always willing to put his life on the line, and it's like you don't know like how is he gonna recover this time, especially like I don't remember if it was in season 1 or season 2, but he was like willing to self-destruct, and I'm like, no, Genos, like you have to stay around, buddy. Like I just love his character so much. So I feel what you're saying about just like you want everybody to make it to the end, and especially I guess in this series they are two heroes. But yeah, I don't know if I could handle Hell's Paradise then if I get attached to characters and they die.
Yeah, it's like don't get attached to anyone because they could die. But yeah, I found one of the parts. It's right here. He says, "I'm the one." He says, "I'm the one who ought to call you sensei. You've really opened my eyes." Did you catch that one?
That's so funny.
Yeah, and it's like they're samurais and criminals. This one, it was a criminal. I believe they might have murdered somebody or something, but he's like an honorable samurai, and it's just them, like these people that are like total opposites. They come together to get this common goal done, and it's just heart-wrenching when things happen. And there's a group that comes in and they're like, we don't understand why you're standing with these criminals. And I'm like, well, we've been through some stuff together. So anyways, I wanted to share that because that was funny.
That's so great. I'm glad you found it. Yeah, I don't have anything exciting I feel like page-wise to share of Genos. Oh, here's a good one where he's always looking like this. You know, like he's just always going through so much, and I'm just like, Genos, I just need you to live, buddy. Though this was a really good scene where he has the afro hair. That was a good scene. So I was like, Genos would definitely be. He's one of my favorite heroes in the One Punch Man universe world. So, and I'm like, if I could just put him in like a bubble, even though he would never purposely let himself be put in a bubble, but if I could, I'm like, it would definitely be Genos to keep him alive. And oh my goodness, we're in the last one. Oh no. Well, let's see. The last one is not always kind. Hero who is rough around the edges.
For this one, I picked Asuka from Neon Genesis Evangelion. She is just so sassy. She's very unkind to the main character, Shinji. She picks on him all the time. Of course, sometimes Shinji like asks for it because, you know, he's not doing what she thinks he should be doing and things like that. That's Shinji, our main character, but she's always like mean to him and things like that. She's sassy toward everyone. She understands what her duty is and she just goes for it, and no matter what anyone says, she knows she needs to pilot these Evas and kill their enemies, and she just doesn't understand the way her other two, I want to say co-workers, but that's not the right word. Her other two partners, because she just thinks that they're weak and That's one of them. Ray is another one. And is that Shinji? No, that's not Shinji. And Shinji, and she just, she gives them the piece of her mind if they want it or not. So it's a fun time. I really like her because here she is, not being nice. She's starting fights and things like that with people. Oh, wait, no, she passed out. That's not the one. But here she is starting a fight. Right here, and she's just very sassy. She knows what she's doing. She's very confident, and she's mean to people who aren't very confident in what they're doing or very meek seeming to her. So she's kind of a bit of a toxic character, but I kind of like her for her drive, and she's just really good at what she does. So yeah.
That was a good pick. Awesome. That was good. Yeah.
This series is so hard to describe too because it's just a scramble of things. I have not read all the way through this yet, but I have watched the anime, and I know it veers off differently from the manga, so I'm very curious to see where this differs from the anime and stuff. Yeah. But there's been so many anime and movies and things made of this, so yeah, it's kind of confusing. I don't even understand it.
Yeah, I debated on this one, but I went with Dojo from Library Wars.
Oh, yeah.
He really is so rough around the edges. It's funny because I almost did him for, the Hate to Love, because I did not like him at the beginning, but I really loved him by the end. But I feel like just through the whole series, he's so rough around the edges with Iku, and there's moments where you see how much Dojo cares, not just for Iku, the main girl, but for everybody that's under him, and just even his friends. I'm just oh my goodness, Dojo's always yelling at somebody. He's always getting angry about something, but usually, it just comes from him being really passionate and really very much caring for those around him. But I didn't look up I don't think is that him? But I guess maybe that's a good example of where he's just very determined. He's probably very strict as well. But here's a good example of when he looks very caring, and he just has those moments that you sort of live for, in shoujo, where they're he's mean, but then you see that one moment, you're like, that's all I needed. That's all I needed to know.
Exactly. I totally go for those characters. Yes. They're mean, but they're squishy on the inside.
Yes, that is so Dojo. And the more that you learn more about him, and you see just, again, just how caring he really is for everyone, especially Iku, though. That is definitely the highlight of that manga, is seeing their growing friendship, relationship, and all that's woven in with that. And it's so good, though. I can't wait for you to read all of that, because
I know I need to. I might have to pick that up next. Yeah,
I think you'll really enjoy it.
I loved the first volume. I'm like, oh, yep, I need the rest of this ASAP.
Yes. Oh my goodness, I can't believe that was the tag. That was so fun. I loved your choices.
I loved yours too, and I added some stuff to my wish list. So yeah.
That's going to be me as well when I'm looking at Amazon later, because I know there's a manga that I wanted that came out Tuesday. Yeah, that I'm very curious about. So, but I have to ask you the big question, since this week is the last week of voting for the manga of what I should read next month. What from our mini list of 8 are you hoping wins?
I think you know the answer to that.
Definitely Yona. Definitely Yona.
That would be it. Yona, and if not Yona, I would be curious to see your thoughts on Weathering with You.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I'm surprised that you chose that one. So
yeah, I read it and I was like, okay, that was the thing. The art was really pretty, but I don't know. I'm not sure if I connected with the story because, one, I can't remember any of it other than the fantastic art. But that's one I've been meaning to reread as well to see if it's going to stay in the collection, because I'm quickly running out of space.
I know. I was looking at your shelves earlier and seeing all the manga behind you.
It's filling up fast. So
yeah, I can totally relate to that struggle so very much. So very much. Well, thank you though for doing this super fun tag with me. Like this was so much fun.
Thank you for asking me and thank you for having me. And it's always a pleasure chatting with you. And yeah, you're just one of my favorite people.
Oh, same here. And if you guys want to go chat with her, go follow her. Let's see, on Instagram, YouTube. You're on Twitter, right?
Yes, maybe? I just joined Twitter. I'm not very active there, but I do post things every now and then.
I will leave those links down below. Guys, you can see she has awesome taste in manga. She's so sweet and just awesome. So go follow her. She has so many fun things coming out this month, right? Yeah, with the manga reading club that she hosts every month. She's got reading sprints.
Summer manga challenge.
So yeah, the manga challenge that's coming. So if you're like, I'm pretty bored this summer, I don't know what to do, go follow her so you can go busy. All the fun things. So and go admire her graphics too because they're so gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
We hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks again, Marg. Thank you guys for watching, and we will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.